National President FLO, the women's wing of FICCI, Joyshri Das Verma, and today's speakers, Mr. Sendil Murugan, Senior Manager, National Stock Exchange of India Limited, CA Gaurav Jain, Founder, Director, Expert Global Consultants Private Limited, and my dear friend and fellow FLO member, Ms. Sarita Chilkapati, CFO, and whole-time Director, Innomet Advanced Materials Limited. Today's session aims to present our members an alternative financing option for their SMEs through NSE Emerge, as our speakers talk about listing your company on NSE Emerge, going the IPO way. I request everyone to mute yourself. And post the session, we will be taking audience Q&A. We'll be taking audience Q&A at the end of the session. So please drop your questions in the chat box or on my personal window. Chairperson Priya Gazzar will now address the gathering. Over to you, Priya. You're on mute, Priya.
Welcome to all to today's virtual knowledge session. It is my distinct privilege to welcome our guest of honor, FLO National President, Ms. Joyshri Das Verma, and our speakers of the day, Mr. R. Sendil Murugan, Mr. Gaurav Jain, and Ms. Chilkapati. FLO has always been committed to enabling and empowering women and entrepreneurs with a strong focus on the MSMEs, which is the backbone of our economy, fostering innovation, adaptability, and sustainable growth. Through our collective efforts, we have witnessed remarkable achievements that underscore the potential and impact of women-led businesses. Today's session is particularly significant, even as we congratulate fellow FLO member Sarita Chilkapati for the phenomenal success of the listing of her company, Innomet Advanced Materials, on NSE Emerge, which was oversubscribed 283 times. We would like to learn from her experience and bring the information and connect to the doorsteps of our members. Listing on the NSE Emerge platform is a monumental milestone for any SME. As an alternate and viable asset class that brings sophisticated investors and corporates wide opportunities for visibility, credibility, and access to capital. It represents not just financial growth, but also the recognition and validation of a company's vision and hard work in the competitive marketplace. Today's session aims to demystify the processes and highlight the strategic advantages that come with part of a prestigious platform like NSE Emerge. And it provides invaluable insights and practical strategies that can be directly applied by our members to their own ventures. I would once again like to acknowledge the presence of our guest of honor, Ms. Joyshri Das Verma. Her leadership and vision have been instrumental in guiding FLO towards fostering a supportive and dynamic environment for women entrepreneurs across the country. Her participation today adds immense value to our discussions and reinforces our collective mission to empower and elevate women in the business world. As we engage in today's session, I encourage each one of you to embrace the opportunities for learning and networking. Let us leverage the strength of the India-wide FLO community to share knowledge, exchange ideas, and build a stronger, more resilient network of women entrepreneurs. Let's harness the collective strength of FLO to overcome challenges, seize new opportunities, and drive meaningful change for women at all levels. Thank you once again to all of you for being here. I wish you all a productive and inspiring session. Thank you, and over to Neha.
Ms. Joyshri Das Verma, the 41st National President of FICCI Ladies Organization for 2024-25, brings a wealth of experience from her 25-year journey in corporate and entrepreneurial ventures. As the Honorary Consul of Israel for Northeast India and co-promoter of Capro Management Solutions Private Limited, a leading HR consulting firm with a nationwide presence, she has demonstrated a remarkable ability to integrate strategic vision with operational excellence. Her tenure includes significant contributions such as fostering bilateral relations between India and Israel across sectors like agriculture, technology, and trade, while also nurturing high-performance teams and expanding client portfolios. Her leadership extends beyond business to impactful social welfare initiatives, including flood relief efforts, COVID care support, and advocacy for orphan children and elderly care. Her holistic approach to organizational dynamics and commitment to ethical co-creation reflect her enduring dedication to both professional excellence and community welfare, guided by a philosophy that emphasizes growth without comparison. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us as guest of honor today. President Joyshri Das Verma will now address the gathering.
Thank you so much, Neha and Priya, for having me over this afternoon. And anyway, welcome each and every one of you to this session today organized by Team Hyderabad. And it's indeed a pleasure to be here addressing the very important session organized by FLO Hyderabad under the umbrella of our MSME Assist cell. And I would like to begin by thanking our Hyderabad chapter chairperson, Priya Gastar, for her leadership in curating this timely and impactful session on such a crucial topic, lifting your company on NSE Emerge, going the IPO way. In today's evolving business landscape, access to capital can make all the difference for small and medium-sized enterprises and startups striving to reach their full potential. This is where platforms like NSE Emerge comes into play, offering a credible and efficient marketplace for growing businesses. And the ability to tap into this platform provides businesses with the opportunity to raise capital, diversify investor portfolios, and set the stage for sustained growth. FLO, with a legacy of empowering women entrepreneurs across India, is proud to support and facilitate such crucial platforms. And our MSME Assist cell is designed to provide women-led businesses with guidance, mentorship, and access to resources like NSE Emerge. This initiative aims to remove barriers for SMEs and women-owned enterprises by helping them navigate the complexities of the financial market, ensuring they have the right tools and insights to take their companies to the next level. And FLO MSME Assist Cell is committed to supporting businesses at every stage of their growth, from capacity building to accessing the right financial avenues. And today's session is a reflection of that mission, providing critical knowledge of the IPO journey, outlining the role of merchant bankers, and highlighting real-world case studies like Innomet that serves as inspiration for many emerging entrepreneurs. And as of July 2024, NSE Emerge has reached the significant milestone of 500 SME listings, marking its growing role by providing emerging businesses with access to equity capital and investor opportunities. NSE Emerge not only simplifies the process of raising funds, but also opens doors to sophisticated investors who are looking to back innovative business models with exciting growth trajectories. And this conversion of emerging corporates and informed investors sets the stage for scaling businesses in India like never before. And the National Stock Exchange of India has been a trailblazer in shaping India's capital market, promoting transparency, and adhering to the highest standards of governance and technology. And NSE Emerge, their SME platform, has proven to be a critical enabler for companies seeking equity capital. So it is more than just a funding avenue. It represents trust, integrity, and a promise of good governance. And for our entrepreneurs who are present here today, I encourage all of you to leverage this session to understand how NSE Emerge can be a stepping stone for your company's growth. And today we have with us Mr. Senthil, who will be kind enough to give us the overview of NSE Emerge and the platform's transparent admission process, which is designed to boost investor confidence and streamline the IPO journey. And we also have with us Mr. Gaurav Jain. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. And I'm sure, our dear member Sarita's case study on Innomet will offer invaluable insights into the real world challenges and successes of taking a company public. And I hope this session equips each one of you with the knowledge and inspiration to explore new avenues for growth. FLO remains committed to supporting your journey as you continue to break barriers, create jobs, and contribute to India's economy. And thank you so much once again, Team FLO Hyderabad and all the esteemed speakers today for making this session possible. And together we can all lift our businesses, communities, and nation to greater heights. And thank you so much to each and every team member in the MSME SE cell in Hyderabad. And Neha, Soumya, Pratibha, all of you, thank you so much from my end. Over to you, Neha.
Soumya will be introducing the speakers now. MSME members.
Namaste and good evening, everyone. I, Soumya Rao, member of MSME FLO Hyderabad, I'm honored to introduce our distinguished speakers for this evening. Mr. R. Senthil Murugan, Senior Manager at the National Stock Exchange of India Limited, Mr. Gaurav Jain, Director of Expert Global Consultants Private Limited, and Ms. Sarita Chilkapati, CFO and Whole-Time Director of IPO Advanced Materials Limited. First, please welcome Mr. R. Senthil Murugan. With an MBA under his belt, Mr. Senthil brings over a decade of expertise in financial markets, having worked as a business analyst at DNB TransUnion and managed CIBIL's back office operations. At NSE since 2010, Mr. Senthil has extensively handled equity and derivatives, fixed income, and mutual fund markets. Currently, he spearheads SME listings in the southern region, fostering growth and innovation. Next, we have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Gaurav Jain. With over 13 years of experience in taxation, company law, capital markets, and financial services, Mr. Gaurav is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and an IBBI registered valuer. Expert Global has managed IPOs raising over 136 crores, with notable assignments like Trom Industries and IPO Advanced Materials. His expertise in valuation, strategic insights, and commitment to honesty, transparency, and trust have driven significant growth and industry recognition. Last but not least, it's my honor to introduce Ms. Sarita Chilkapati, CFO and whole-time director of IPO Advanced Materials Limited, and a valued member of FLO Hyderabad. With a strong business family background and over 20 years of experience, Ms. Sarita has excelled in various industries, including diamond tool manufacturing, metal powder, and tungsten heavy alloy component manufacturing. Her expertise spans from finance, operations, HR, marketing, and R&D. Under Ms. Sarita's leadership, IPO Advanced Materials has achieved remarkable success. And she has also received the MSME Minister's Award for 100 Successful Women Entrepreneurs in MSME and FLO's recognition for manufacturing entrepreneurs and manufacturing excellence. Recently, her company's IPO was oversubscribed by 283 times listings on the NSE Emerge platform. Please join me in welcoming these exceptional speakers for this evening. Please give them a warm welcome. Welcome, everyone. Our first speaker for this evening is Mr. Senthil Murugan. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soumya, for the great introduction of ourselves. And the first thing, I'll just 1 minute. Sorry, I just want to all you excuse me. I've got unusual traffic in Chennai. I supposed to reach office in half an hour back. I just got stuck in the middle of traffic, so I'm just parked somewhere and started meeting from my car only. So don't mistake me.
Mr. Senthil, can I,
Yeah.
if you think you'll be able to reach wherever you were intending to reach your destination in next 10-15
No,
minutes.
actually,
Can you give it, Mr. Gaurav Jain?
I've actually. No, ma'am. Actually, I've actually misplanned and got stuck in a little far ahead of my office. So anyhow, Miss Neha Reddy will help me out. She said that she could able to run my slides. I can able to present you from here. I'm comfortable if you are okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortably parked my vehicle somewhere, so not an issue. Thank you. So once again, a formally good evening to everyone. NSE Emerge is one of our key segment. It is evolving last 2.5 years very steadily in Indian market. Though we have started this segment from 2012 in NSE, this segment started picking up from last 2.5 years. Because this segment is specifically we have come up for entrepreneurs who are in the mid size and small size. So typically SMEs is a big word that if you go to SMEs have a lot of definitions across places. If you go to banks or government schemes, they have their own definitions. So here SMEs per se, typically we have a very small could you just move next, right? We have a small definitions, like anybody who's having a 3 years of operation history and having 2 years profitable out of 3 years, and your paid up capital, if it is less than 25 crore, we are eligible to get an NSE SME board actually. See, normally somebody in the group might not be aware about the basis of listing, all those things. Just give you a basic thing. What is listing is more of rising fund through equity. Is that you would have heard about the stock market, even where biggies like Reliance and SBI or L&T, they just come to public, they issue their equity to the public, raise funds. Those things we call it as, so those companies we call it as a main board companies. Main board where the company is normally having having fund size of say rising fund size of more than 200 300 crores and above, they normally look for a main board listing. SME typically starting from NSE, we have starting a small size of from 4 crore to 100 crore plus SME listing is happening, whereas small companies doing around top line of 15 crore, 20 crore turnover, 30 crore from 400 crore, 500 crore up to they get listed in SME platform. So as we mentioned, this platform started in 2012 and close around 530 companies are got listed, and the 530 companies put together close around 13,000 crores. Fund has been raised till now, and the market capitalization of the fund particular companies is close around 1.75 lakh crore now. So as I mentioned, though it has started from 2012, we have got only 500 and plus companies got listed in NSE. See, basically there are two reasons. One is that the awareness level was not that far actually in the market. So now that's where we were reaching out this kind of prominent people like you, creating awareness about how the listing helps you out, all those things. Because a lot of SMEs feel like listing is not meant for us, only for bigger companies. People doing around 20 crore, 30 crore, cannot be go for a public. So we keep creating awareness how to prepare yourself. That's what we keep doing across places. And second thing, practically speaking, the books were not ready more of companies because frankly speaking, when Gauruji is there, would have seen a lot of books. People were more into taxation model in our market, not into wealth creation model. So it took a lot of time for us to educate them. Come to the wealth creation model, started showing profit more, so that the valuation depends upon the profitability. So that's where. So immediately people are doing for 5 years, 6 years now. Immediately one fine day they can't increase their profit and come up. So it took time for them to build their books and everything. That's the reason it has come up. If you see from 2012 to 2017, there are only 11 companies across India got listed. So now, last 2-3 years only, we got closer on 500 companies. Now that picking up like anything. So that's how the market has started here. And next slide, Ms. Neha. So as I mentioned earlier, this platform is not exactly for the startups as well as the bigger companies. The people who are in kind of an emerging stage, who will be like the company anyhow, somebody start a business with their own capital, friends and relatives capital, and post that they predominantly any small companies relying on banks actually to the debt funding. And when they start establishing themselves, it took normally 3 to 4 years timeline to establish in the market, reach out to the customers and everything. Then they start getting, the order flow and they go to the market in a big way. They short of the working capital. So predominantly the first time entrepreneurs, they can't go beyond level of debt. and they will not be having adequate collateral banks also. So these kind of emerging companies, this listing would be the ideal space for it actually. Next slide, please. So these are the simple criteria which I mentioned earlier. Anybody who's having a post paid up capital should be less than 25 crore and 3 years of operational history. And out of 3 years, 2 years should be positive net, cash accruals, and your net worth should be positive. These are the simple criteria where normally any company can get into the listing mode. Next one. So regulatory wise framework, if you see, so typically there are the lot of difference between the simplification made by the regulators as well as the exchanges for SMEs to get benefit out of it. One is that even go to main board, there should be a minimum 1,000 applicants should be there. Here 50 LRTs, we can easily go with the IPO, and the dilution is as like a minimum 20% has to be diluted in that actually, which means so till now 100% ownership lies with the company only. When we come for a public, minimum 25% they should dilute to the public actually. And DRHP is in the same format only as like a main board. Only thing, your DRHP will not go to SEBI for approval. It will get approved in the exchange level itself. So it will save a lot of time and easy process. And there is no rating required. No grade IPO rating is not required actually. And there is one more.
Explain what is DRHP?
So, ma'am, DRHP is nothing but typically a draft red herrings prospect, where any company who comes for IPO, they have to give the complete detailed about themselves, the company, their financials, their product lineup, their risk factors, everything to the public. Typically, we are going for a public fundraising, right? So public should know about 360 degree of ourselves, the company self. That we call it as a DRHP, draft red herrings prospect, which is typically close around 350 plus pages of document, which we'll submit to a public before we going for a listing. That will be there in the public domain, when we apply for the listing in the exchange, which will have all our history, where we have started, who are the promoter background, company's various product line, who are our major customers, and all our product cycle, what is the risk factor what we are having at everything, and what is our deployment plan. For example, we are raising say about 20 crore, 30 crore, 100 crore raising. What is the deployment plan? How we are going to deploy the funds? All those things will be given in the DRHP, madam. That will give them the clear picture about the company to take decision to just invest in the company. That's how we give that to the public domain. Normally, the DRHP in the main board, it will go to a SEBI for approval. Here, exchange level will vetted that, will do all the due diligence and will give approval for the same. And in that process, there is a entity called underwriters. Normally, any IPO, there will be an underwriter as entity. Typically, sometime will be the merchant banker themselves, or they'll appoint underwriter. The underwriter job is, just give you an example. Somebody is coming for a main board IPO, bigger IPO. 15% should be a minimum they have to underwrite, which means somebody coming for 1,000 crore IPO, 150 crore, they have to give guarantee that whether public is coming to subscribe or not, I'll subscribe the 150 crores. That's the case. The main board may, if the IPO is not subscribed for 95%, the issue will be revoked. But in SME is not that case. SME, we just want to safeguard of the small companies. We have made it as a 100% underwriting, which means any merchant banker signing mandate and taking up your case and opening the IPO should get succeed. There is no way of no subscription happens, IPO getting revoked. That matter not at all. That's why we make it as a 100% underwriting. And that will just to give a kind of support to the SMEs in the confident in the IPO move. And there is another entity we will be appointing at the time of IPO, which is a market maker. Market maker is nothing but there's a one of a stockbroker, NSE stockbroker. What they'll do, they will be giving a two-way quotes, buy and sell quote for a stock from the day of listing to 3 years timeline. They'll give the two-way quotes to the public actually. This is mainly, we have mentioned, right, how we are given an underwriter for just a safeguard of SMEs. Same like the market maker have been appointed for the investors. Typically, any of the small retail investors investing in your company, tomorrow after 3 months, 4 months down the line, they want to exit now. There should be liquidity now, ma'am. Somebody should be there to buy, right? For that, creating that liquidity, normally market makers will be appointed. These are the regulatory wise, these are the basic things will be handled in the SME segment. Post-listing compliance after listing, actually comparatively the main board is very simple. One is that main board may every quarterly you have to publish your results. Here only off-yearly that do abridgment would do an off-yearly. Any once in a year we're going to do extra, we have to do one off-yearly audit. And that too, you know, to publish anywhere, just need to put your website on NSE website. That's a simple thing. Normally we do corporate governance as per the limited company norms. You'll have to have a kind of board with you. As ROC norms, if you have become a limited company, you have to have a independent directors, you know, to have a women directors. That all things will be fall in place. And migration, typically we have a one better option be given as no. You can, after serving 3 years in SME board, you can migrate to main board with a simple documentation only. That gives a any SMEs to just to migrate themselves to at par with the main board companies. Very simple way of doing this actually. And investor per se, what we have kept is we just wanted to have a kind of more of informed investors into the system. That's where we just keep the minimum investment is a 1 lakh, which is like any investor want to invest. For example, Innomet has come. Anybody want to invest tomorrow? Even in IPO or secondary market also. Tomorrow, any of you want to buy a share of Innomet, you have to minimum investment of 1 lakh and multiple thereafter. Because we don't want any small players like retail investor who want to buy a 500 rupees, 1000 rupees share, and just to kind of get this profit. So that's the reason we have kept this 1 lakh as a minimum investment in the system. Next. And why somebody should get listed typically because an ultimate objective of any company to get listed is fundraising only. Because raising efficient capital is the only way. Because when you go for a simple example, when you go for debt funding, for example, you're raising a fund of say about 10 crore from bank, whether you're performing or not, you have to keep service of the debt, right? But here, I think these funds will come from public with no commitment. You need not to have a fixed commitment for like the 8%, 10%, 12%, you not to give any fixed commitment. For example, if you have a 10 crore or 20 crore loan, every year 2 crore or 3 crore will go as a interest only. Here, that 2 crore will reflect in your book as a profit. That will give you a much more advantage in the business side. So that way, the efficient way of fundraising is to come for equity listing. That's the core objective of any company to come for listing for expansion, your capex, whatever. But beyond raising capital, you have a lot of advantages in that actually, which is typically see till now your company, you're one among the lakhs of companies who got listed in India. The moment you got listed, you are one among the thousands of companies who got listed in India. The moment whether people like any market investors, HNIs, ultra HNIs, retail investors, institutions, AMCs, they all, whether they're investing or not, they keep tracking your shares. Your report keep going across places. At 2.5 lakh plus terminals of NSE, everywhere our name will be there actually. That gives a greater visibility to us. With that, too much, good credibility will come to our company. A lot of people might be, export oriented, import oriented to my business. Tomorrow, when you reach your new vendors, or even like customers, suppliers, the moment they want to check your background, they got to know that you're a listed company, the credibility will be much more higher actually. And the appropriate valuation will be get actually. That's the key actually here. Because till now, we are being a private limited or a partnership firm. We don't have a proper valuation. Our valuation is more of our assets and building land. That's what we have value. That value only will be effective if at all we are selling the company. So otherwise, we don't have any value of our equity, our business. The moment you got business valuation, equity listed, the valuation will be day wise, it got there, your market cap. For example, just giving you our live example of Innomet only. So Innomet has got listed, in to September last September only. It's been hardly a month time. They come up with the 100 rupees share. If today, as on day today, if you see, they're trading at around 192 or something. If I'm not wrong, I've not recently 190 levels, which means within a month it got doubled actually. So if it would have come for, I say, about 100 crore valuation market cap or 150 crore market cap, within 1 month it doubled as a 300. It become 300 crore now. So that kind of valuation, that market cap, is very easy, very tough to get in the business actually. So now 25-30% only with the public, remaining there with the promoters only. So if the company within a 100 crore, 150 crore company within a month becomes 300 crore, out of which around 70% close around 200 crore with the company, with the promoters only. That's how the wealth creation, happened. There are two ways of creating wealth, madams. One is that you do business, through business you earn money, through that you create wealth. Second thing, you got listed, our shares there in the market. The moment you got keep, selling, increasing our performance, automatically the share price will take up actually. See, typically, whoever is there in the market, you would know, see, share prices will not move up, adjoined with your performance. For example, you have say about 50 crore revenue, 5 crore profit. Next year, you have 60 crore revenue, 6 crore profit. So every year you're doing around 10%, 20%. If you continue constantly, you're giving growth, your stock price will not grow with that particular percentage only. It always go higher only. That's how the market reacts normally, because we have very few hundred stocks are active in Indian market. Frankly speaking, there are about 5,000, 6,000 stocks there in India getting traded in India. I know out of which there are 1,000 stocks are actively being traded. So always there is a demand for good companies. So your stocks will be always in demand. So that valuation will be much more higher. That's how the proper valuation comes. And you have a corporate governance and proper corporate governance in place. There will be a board will be there in the system. So will not be like more of a family owned or individual run business. It's more of you give a kind of proper corporate governance and the professionally run business will come. The moment you got listed, your shares become collateral. Till now, being a private limited company, our shares will be there in the either in the cupboard or either will be in a demat form. But the moment it got listed, that will have value interest. You can pledge and you can take a loan also. Easy liquidity. Anytime you want to further dilution, further for round of fundraising, or if you're going for any merger and acquisition, all those things will be simpler. All will be traded as a market cap only. So because the market cap plays a vital role, we should create a wealth like anything. So even you take any biggies in India, like your Adani, Ambani, or Kumar Mangalam Birla, anybody, they are all biggest just because not because of their assets, because of their market capitalization. That's the kind of a wealth can be created through this platform actually. You have a high caliber of employees you can retain, all the so on actually. So listing comes with a load of good, benefits with that actually, with the funding. That's what I was trying to, precisely want to tell. Next one, ma'am. So these are some kind of initiative which we have taken in joint with the government, state governments and all, wherein a lot of state governments is giving subsidies, incentives who are coming for SME listing. They give subsidies into it. Even Tamil Nadu government is giving around 30 lakh on the issue expenses for the companies who get listed. Kerala is giving 1 crore. Like that, a lot of state governments giving subsidies to just to create awareness and motivate SMEs to come for listing. Next one, ma'am. So this is a simple step normally happens if you are interested to just get to know about the listing path. You can just get in touch with us, and we will just to do a basic due diligence, and we connect you with the investment bankers and start once we evaluation is getting finalized, then we'll start signing mandate and start appointing other intermediaries, filing offer documents with NSE. These are simple steps normally we do. Once it normally takes about 2 to 3 months to prepare documents for any merchant bankers to submit with the exchange, and exchange takes normally 45 days to 60 days to give approval, because we do our own due diligence, legal, financially, regulatory wise, all those things. Then once we give approval, within 1 week to 15 days, 20 days time, you can open the issue. This is the simple steps normally as a kind of a listing process. This end-to-end thing typically will get over average of 5 to 6 months time. Average time. You might go to some 8 months also. We have done IPOs in 3-4 months also. Average time period for the process is the time when you sign mandate. It is about 6 months. It's average time. Next one, ma'am. Yeah, this is nothing but a small indices which we have developed on the image. So just want to show that within a short span of time, NSE Emerge platform, SMEs typically given a huge growth in the so that the indices actually gone very big actually. So as I mentioned on my initial slides, out of this 550 companies have raised close around 14,000 crores. That 14,000 crores now became 1.5 lakh crore now. So that's the kind of wealth being created in the SME platform. So all the investors who has, even Gauravji himself would have been a witness actually, a lot of, or he would have made a good, created a good wealth for his, clients, investors through this, platform. So that's the kind of a growth story this SME is being given. People like you has shown in the market. So next one. So that's it. That's what from my end. So hope I'm there with my timeline. So if anybody else any kind of queries or something, I'm happy to answer. Or Neha ji, if you want me to take the queries at the end of session, also I'm comfortable.
Yeah, we'll be doing Q&A at the end.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Thank you, NSE Emerge. I now invite Mr. Gaurav Jain to continue the session on the role of merchant bankers in IPO listing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Joshi, ma'am, and thank you, Priya, ma'am, for providing us an opportunity to speak on this platform, on the NSE Emerge platform, to speak on the role of merchant bank on NSE Emerge platform. I'll just share my slide so that everyone can see it. Just give me a minute. So this is so basically the role merchant banker comes when the company wants to get listed. So they want to appoint certain intermediaries to get the company listed on stock exchange, because they have to prepare an offer document as mentioned by the censor. So for preparation of the offer document and to prepare the company for an IPO, the role of merchant banker comes here. So first, let us understand what is the securities market and how the company can raise funds. So there are two modes where the company can raise funds. First is from the capital market, as in form of equity, and other is form of loans from banks and other financial institutions. And as an equity, there are two forms: whether they can go for an IPO or they can go for a private equity. So basically, now we are discussing that how the company can raise the money from the securities market, that is the equity market, from the NSE Emerge platform. So through NSE Emerge platform, the company can raise money by issuance of the new shares, or by what they can do is they can get the money raised from the sale of their existing equity shares. Suppose there is a company which has 1 lakh, suppose 1 crore shares are there. So what they can do is they can issue new shares to raise money, or what they can do is they can sell some of the existing shares on the NSE Emerge platform and get the money raised from the securities market. So they are falling out the type of issues from where the company can raise. There is a public issue. Public issue, in the initial public issue. So in the public issue, there are two kind of issues. One is an IPO, and second is an FPO. Just a minute. I think the screen is not. Asking that. Give me a minute. Now the screen is shared. Okay. So there are certain things where the company can raise money. That is from the public issue side, the right issue side, bonus issue, and private placement. From public issues, the company can raise money initially through an IPO, that is from fresh issue of shares and for an offer for sale. Or after the company gets listed, they can further raise money through a process of an FPO or preferential issue, or through a QIP, that is qualified institutional placements. So these are the methods from where the company can raise money from the equity market. So this is a detail what I can show, that the IPO, that the securities are first time listed. You can get your shares listed first time in the securities market. Then a FPO, there's a follow-on public offer. Once the company gets listed, they can further raise the money through an FPO or through a right issue. And then you can, when the prices are higher, then you can award your shareholders by issuing a bonus issue or a preferential issue, and then you can raise money through preferential issue and QIP as well. So let us understand what is an IPO and the initial public offer, and what is the role of merchant banker over there. So merchant banker prepare the document that is called a DRHP, draft red herring prospectus, what Census has already mentioned, and that document is kind of a bible for the company, that what the company is, how the promoters are there, uh, what kind of industry the company is doing, what are the financials of the company, what the company will do with the funds that they are raising, how the valuation is being derived, and if there is any legal things are there on the company side. So everything is there in the red herring prospectus that we file with the stock exchange. So here the role of merchant banker comes in. They help you in designing the board of directors of the company, help the company in deciding the board of directors and everything. So let us understand what is the process of an IPO. First, we file an offer document, what Census has prescribed earlier, with the SEBI, stock exchange, and the ROC. So what happens is, if we are doing in an SME merge, then the SEBI role is not there. We just have to file with the NSE platform, with an NSE, and they check the document and get it approved. If there is any query, then we file all those queries with the regulator, and get the initial approval letter from them, and then we file an RHP with the stock exchange, and then we get the company listed on the stock exchange. So this, I think, already Census has covered, that it is regulated by the SEBI and everything. So let us understand that there is certain confusion that only SME companies can come in the SME platform, and this is something which has been defined by various, that SMEs, small enterprises, that investment is only 1 crore to 10 crores, medium enterprises not more than 50 crores, and everyone thinks that only a certain threshold of companies can come in the SME platform, which is not in the case. Any company which wants to get listed can come on the NSE platform. There is no turnover criteria is mentioned. There is nothing which is mentioned. The only criteria is mentioned is they should have positive net worth. They should have positive cash flows for the next 3 years, or 2 out of 3 years, and then there are other certain regulations which have been mentioned in the further slides. Right? So there is something what helps the company to get listed on the stock exchange. So there are certain benefits which Sendison has briefly described earlier, that you get a more and more capital for expansion as a long-term working capital. On that capital, there is no debt, so there is no debt burden. And after you get in capital, so it improves your credit rating and there is lower finance cost. And then you have a branding impact also. If the company is listed, then you increase the more and more visibility. Then there is a value creation for the shareholders, because now the price is tradable on stock exchange. So there is an impact on branding and the value creation for the shareholders as well. Then it also raises a level of confidence with the customers, suppliers, and investors. And also when we can give an ESOPs to employees to incentivize them. Uh, Also, it impacts on building, because you have a larger investor base, then you can issue more shares and generate more capital by way of secondary placements. Earlier I mentioned as a process of an FPO or a QIB placement or a preferential issue. Then you also get an independent valuation, because your shares are tradable, you have a market cap, so you have an independent valuation of the company. And after then also, if you have a private equity or venture capitalist who has invested in your company, they see it as a part of an exit by selling of the shares in SME platform. And also because your shares are listed, you get more and more visibility, so marketability is also there. However, the other benefits are there that since you are listed company, so there is a great transparency and disclosures leading to a best financial practices. Then there is a process of migration to a main board, and also there is a benefit that since the shares are listed, which has now already been removed, that the long-term capital gain is now same as on the both sides of the debt, whether shares are listed or not listed. Also, the cost on listing on NSE platform is much lower than as the cost of getting the listed on the main board. Then there's a wealth creation, liquidity, taxation. Oh yeah. Okay, now first let us understand who are the companies which are eligible for NSE Emerge platform. So the company should be incorporated under Companies Act 2013 right now, or 1956 as earlier. Then the post-issue paid-up capital should not be more than 25 crores. Then there is a question comes in whether we have a proprietorship firm or partnership firm, and whether we can get how we can get them listed on a stock exchange. So then we have to convert those proprietorship firms or partnership firms under companies, and then only we can get the listed on the stock exchange. Then the net worth of the company should be positive. Then there is an operating cash flow that the operating profit should be positive for 2 out of last 3 years. Then the company should not be referred to IBC, or there is no any winding up a petition to be pending on the NCLT court. Then always a minimum there is no regulatory or disciplinary action by the stock exchange. Minimum dilution has already been discussed by Senthil sir. Underwriting has already been discussed by the Senthil sir. So obviously the cycle is there, which is already been discussed at approximately 6 months from the IPO to the listing part. So now what is the role of merchant banker in this? So when the company decides that they want to go for an IPO, then they have to appoint certain intermediaries, which are merchant banker, which are legal advisor, registrar. They should have a full-time CFO is there, full-time company secretary should be there. So first, the company appoints a merchant banker. Then the merchant banker advises the company that how the other intermediaries has to be appointed. Then already the company and the merchant banker decides in mutual how the capital structure should be there, whether we want to go for a fresh issue of equity shares, or we can, or whether the promoter wants to dilute some of those shares and we can offer for, and they can sell the shares in the IPO, which is called as an offer for sale. Then there are certain regulations which needs to be passed for the issuance of capital. Then your financial statements, which are already been audited, has to be restated once again and by a peer review auditor, which can always be your statutory auditor. Then there's a restructuring of the board, because there should be certain directors, independent directors has to be appointed, certain KMPs needs to be appointed. Then what are your group companies has to be identified. So there is a certain pre-IPO preparation that needs to be done before that. Then the merchant banker also has to conduct a due diligence part to understand the company, to understand the business profile, to understand if there's any there's any non-compliance. Then the merchant banker helps to get those non-compliances, make the company compliant. Then the offer document has to be prepared as per the SEBI SCDR regulations and as per Companies Act. These are the intermediaries which already been discussed: the market maker, underwriter, then banker to the issue. This has already been discussed by Senthil sir. Then we submit the document with the regulator and get the approval from the regulator, which is called an in principle approval from the stock exchange. Then after we get the in principle approval, then the listing process is being mentioned that we have to publish, we have to issue a pre-issue advertisement, and bankers shares their financial of the. Then we issue a basis of allotment and grade the shares to the respective shareholders and get the listing application filed with the stock exchange, and the trading approval comes. And obviously the entire process from issue open to listing has to be completed within a period of 6 working days. This is almost a illustrative list of chapters that needs to be prepared in the offer document. So we can discuss what is the basic information that an offer document has which is about the company, who are the managers and the promoters of the company, has to be mentioned in the offer document. Then what are the risk factors? Because if an investor invests in the company, they should know what are the risks that he's attaining to get the reward for the same. Then what are the litigations which are pending with the company? Then what is the object of the issue? Why the fund is required? And where the company will utilize those funds from the proceeds from the IPO. It can be, the funds can be used for as an the funds can be raised as an capital expenditure. Then first can raised as a working capital for repayment of loan, for investment in subsidies, and for if you want to have any other object, then we can mention in the DRHP for the same. Then these are certain financials that last 3 years financials becomes a part of the offer document. And also the past performance is also being mentioned in the offer document. Then the main question comes from the promoters that what is the valuation of the company and how the price has to be, how the price is being determined. So for there, we get what are the peer companies which are listed on the stock exchange, what are their price equity multiples and other KPIs are there. Based on that, the issue price has been decided. Then there's the other, what are the tax benefits are there? There might be certain companies which enjoy certain tax benefits. So we mention all those tax benefits also in the offer document, because it might impact the share price, might impact the valuation of the company. So there can be two kinds of prices. The price can be a fixed price, say 40 rupees, 50 rupees, or 60 rupees. Suppose Sarita ma'am Inomet comes at a price of 103 rupees. That is a fixed price issue, which is being decided. And then there's a book build issue, that there is a certain range which is given, that the price can be from 100 rupees to 105 rupees. So there is a price band which is given for the price of the shares. So in both cases, we can have the offer document can be prepared for both those prices. Then there is a certain indicated timelines, how much time it takes, and how much time should be there for each and every process. So there is a board meeting needs to be the research should be there. So every process has a certain timeline. That's why if we adhere to that timelines, only then the prospectus can be completed on time, and the process can be completed in 4 to 6 weeks. It's 4 to 6 months for the same. So a certain timelines has to be are mentioned over here. That basically we have to file the entire document and file the same with the stock exchange with a period of 2 months when we start the process. Then the approval takes another at least 45 to 60 working days, and then we file the RHP and get the issue open and close, and get the company listed on the stock exchange. There might be certain practical difficulties which many companies face, that the government approvals are not in order, the secretary records are not in place, we have been non-compliance for certain rules and regulations. Okay, there are certain documents which are not being filed, the statutory auditor is not peer reviewed, the company does not have a website, the company shares are not in demat form, the board of directors is not as per ICDR regulations that needs to be done. Okay, they are not, the sanction letters from the banks are not there. So these are all the things where the merchant banker comes in, helps the company to get those non-compliance, make the company compliant. So here the role of merchant banker comes basically. Then these are some of the issues that we handled by us. The last one was the Sarita ma'am's issues, that is Inomet, for which we raised somewhere around 9,700 crores on the market. And this is a thank you, ma'am. If any other questions are there, I'm happy to answer those things.
Thank you, Mr. Jain, for your insight. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Sarita Chilkapati to share her experience in listing her company on NSE Emerge. Following this, FLO National President Joyshri Das Verma and FLO Hyderabad Chairperson Priya Gazdar will engage in a conversation with Sarita. We will be taking audience Q&A after this. Please drop your questions in the chat box or on my personal window.
Thank you, Neha, for the introduction. And thank you, Priya and Ms. Joyshri Das Verma for taking up my success story in the journey of FLO. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
And am I audible?
Yeah, very good.
Okay. So I'll start my presentation. So INNOMET is actually a telescopic word for innovation and metallurgy. Of course, now we migrated from metals to materials. So INNOMET stands for Innovative Materials. This was started by Mr. Vinay Chaudhary Chilkapati. He is the managing director. And I'm the CFO and full-time director. And my mother-in-law has been the promoter since the inception. So whatever screen you can see here, they are the directors and promoters of our company. And I would just run through a journey of our company. So we started way back in 1984. And if you see the chain, we've actually moved from general engineering, and then we started up a proprietary firm called Prasad Innovations, where we manufacture diamond tools, which is used for processing natural stone. And then as a backward integration way back in 2005, we got into manufacture metal powders, which is the current business that we are into. So the reason for actually migrating from diamond tools to manufacture metal powders is the threat from the Chinese, because we were looking big. But diamond tools did not serve the purpose, and we could really not face the competition also. So we thought, we have to get out of this business, and that's how we got into manufacturing metal powders. So metal powders are primarily used in diamond tools, but once we got into that, we came to know that it has a huge potential, starting from automobiles to aerospace and defense as well. So as a forwarding integration, we got into manufacture of tungsten heavy alloys in the year 2010, where these products are used in defense and aerospace and radiation shielding and all. And of course, we are an R&D company, and our USP is actually developing import substitutes for our country. So in the journey, we actually tied up with IIT Madras, and we developed something called as ODS alloys, which stands for oxide dispersion strengthening alloys, which are used for thermal power generation. And that was way back in 2018, and we successfully executed it as an industry institute partnership as well. And in the year 2019, we were actually a partnership firm. We converted ourselves to a private limited in 2019. And in 2020, with ARCI, we developed a product which actually contains the COVID virus as well, which was proven by the CCMB labs as well. And we came up with a B2C product named Aster. And I do remember Priya did the branding for us. Thank you, Priya. And in 2021, we signed up with ARCI, that is an International Advanced Research Institute based at Hyderabad, where we developed lithium iron phosphate material, which is used in battery materials. So this has been successfully executed by us, and this is actually used in the lithium batteries right now. And we actually did a scaling up of this technology also with a company called Altman based at Hyderabad. And so this has been a journey. And I think in 24, we got a company listed. So primarily, as I was telling you, we have two divisions. One is metal powders, where we manufacture ferrous and non-ferrous metal alloys, where the applications range from powder metallurgy components to diamond tools to brazing, catalysts, surface coatings, pharmaceutical industries, welding, and etc. And the second series are also called as inner tongue or tungsten heavy alloy series, which are primarily used in defense and aerospace and radiation shielding, a little bit into sporting, etc. This is just a pictorial description of our products. And this is the tungsten heavy alloy products. See, on the left hand that you see over here is the smallest product that we have manufactured, which is 220 milligrams or almost 2.2 grams. But the largest that we did is about 250 kgs. Now, looking at this, you'll be wondering, this must be a huge thing, but I have to tell you that it is not less than 12 inches, which means tungsten heavy alloys are very, very dense and used for niche applications. And our company is known for R&D, and we've been working with Tata Steel in the development of surface coatings and additive manufacturing. IIT I had also already mentioned, ARC I had mentioned, DMR, yes. With DMR, we developed a technology which is right now used in HAL helicopters, which are called brake piston insulators. And yeah, there's another technology transfer that we have done with ARC again for pure tungsten. This is the infrastructure that we have built over the years. I have to thank FLO for this because I'm part of the FLO Industrial Park, and I was allocated 2 acres land there about 6 years ago. And then we envisaged this, and we created this infrastructure, which actually gave me a platform for me to grow the company. So this is the current picture of our unit at FLO Industrial Park. This is our global presence. We actually supply to a couple of countries across the world, including Israel. So Joyshri ma'am, I was mentioning to you before that we supply regularly to Israel.
Yes, I remember
These
that.
are our clients. It includes, defense establishments, private industries, and of course we export regularly to a couple of countries. So I've just talked about our issue. Our issue started on 11th September and it closed on 13th September. We were raising a fund of 34.24 crores, which was at a fixed price of 100 rupees, which means each share cost 100 rupees and the minimum lot was 1200, which means if you had to buy shares in Emerge, you had to invest at least 1.2 lakhs of your capital. And post issue, I can show you that it was oversubscribed by 283 times. Which is totally, I think, a showering from everywhere. And thanks to Gauravji and the entire team, I would call it blessings from all sides who showed up in this form. And so this is my company presentation. Thank you.
That's phenomenal, Sarita. And having a homegrown success story like this makes us all so proud. And you're part of FLO Industrial Park, which is another feather in our cap. So this is a story that we wanted it to go viral. We wanted it to go pan-India for FLO community. And thank you so much for coming. Now I will request Joyshri ji to step in and ask her questions.
Like Sarita, one question was that, I mean, there was obviously the numerous financing options for SMEs, but what motivated you to choose NSE Emerge for your company's listing?
Yes, ma'am. So you know how an SME runs because we all come from the SME segment. So, all of us raise funds firstly through friends and family, or we are bootstrapping, then comes friends and family, and then you go to the banks and probably a little bit of NBFCs. Then you're restricting yourself. A little bit more, I would say, would offer your collateral. So that also stops at some point of time. So what was happening in our company was in the past, I think not less than 7 or 8 years, all we've been discussing is how to raise funds in a big way. The reason being was we could see a vision, we could see a growth, which was much faster than what we could fund it. So we had actually raised funds in the form of CCDs, that's called compulsory convertible debentures as well. But again, it is like, every 6 months, I'm looking for a fundraise, every 6 months. So, so 6 months you're working on it, and in the next 6 months you have exhausted, then again you're working on it. So that cycle was continuing. And parallelly, when the FLO Industrial Park gave us this, allotted this land, we went on an expansion mode. Of course, we have wonderful infrastructure now, which I can really be proud of. So with that, when you're parallel investing in, plant facilities, you can't invest on working capital. You can split the money only into one thing. So, so when we talked to a couple of entrepreneurs, one of the things that they suggested was, why didn't you go into the stock market? Because our business had the potential. It is not just for the funding, but, I can see leaps and bounds growth for our business. And that's when we did a little bit of homework about probably not less than about 9 months to 1 year. We actually inquired what is happening here and what are the pros and cons and all. There was a point of time where we were debating, is it right for us at this point of time or not? But yes, we took a call. I think last May, we took a call that, yes, we'll think about it. But by mid-July, we signed the mandate with our mutual fund.
I think your story, will make a very good, a learning, a lot of learnings for, our flow members. The other thing, also I want to, ask you that what are the challenges that you faced, during the listing process, and how did you overcome it during this period?
One thing is, I think, the understanding of the entire ecosystem takes time. It's totally unknown, I would say. Even if I want to reach out to, say, peers in this industry, there are hardly any. And especially Hyderabad does not have that fraternity where I could say that there are people who have been listed. I could only come across one company, that is Tiwari Spices. So probably we spoke to him once or twice. But we really don't have that ecosystem of, having what I would say, experienced a team who could guide us or things like that. So I think Mumbai or Jaipur or Delhi has that ecosystem. And fortunately, our merchant banker is from Delhi and our registrar agent is from Mumbai. So they had their own team and we worked as a team and we took it forward. But the challenges are, there's so many unknowns. It's not like, you must have seen both the presentation. There's so many compliances to be talking about. Not one, I would say. So you have to cross every milestone. You have to cross every compliance, and it's a challenge. So you need to have a great team. At the same time, I think you should have the mindset to say that this will take time, and we will overcome it, and then we will make it successful. So that is how we actually took it up and made it successful.
Very positive. Over to you, Priya.
Thank you, Jayashree. So, Sarita, this would have been quite a tough process. We all understood now that it is 6 months, but I think even for you to get there, think about it, that we will go there, approach them, that would have taken another 6 months. So through it all, what was the most valuable lesson you learned? Both academically and, personally.
Personally, it was like, dealing with a lot of, new team members and with different wavelengths and with different backgrounds, I would say, because, if I were to take Gaurav sirs, their complete background is more into, chartered accountancies or anything to do with compliances. And if I were to talk about Mr. Subhash Dingreja, he's more about, he's the RTA, the registered transfer agent. So his background is different. At the same time, we had a team, so everybody had different strengths. So putting them all across at one place and one page was definitely a challenge. Not only a challenge, it was a big learning, because it's like a marriage, I would call it, where you're trying to understand and get along and take it forward. So that is one. It's been a great learning, no doubt. And on the learning part, I think because I've been involved since day beginning, so whatever document or whatever thing that you ask me, I don't have to refer anything because it's not in my fingertips. Or I can just pick it up from my system and say, hey, I have this. So that's been my journey along the whole thing. I've learned so much, and I'm actually thankful because, I could really understand my capability as well. So which means I can really do. So all of us have that innate potential to do more, which actually encourages me.
So we did see there was a lot of governances and compliances that were required. So did you at any point of time feel that you were getting stuck in trying to get these across, and there were too much of paperwork to be done vis-a-vis what would have been done otherwise for the mainstream IPO? Because here we are focusing on NSE Emerge, right? And hoping that the process is quicker, easier. So did you see that happen?
Oh, well, compliance is why actually I'm very comfortable, because our company has been compliant. So whatever Gaurav sir has said, you have to be a compliant company. I have to hear from him as well, because we didn't have so many hiccups that you can call and you had to do a correction. It was just that you had to ensure that it was in place, and it would, like some deadlines get extended or expire, but you have to just check the expiry date and get it renewed. Things like that. But otherwise, we were not non-compliant in most of the cases, because as a company, we've been doing that since the inception. So I didn't have that problem. And of course, now it's now post-listing, yes, now we have to deal with a couple of compliances. And it's definitely a learning curve. So what we've done is we've taken Gaurs's help and we've actually outsourced all the services who are actually good at their space. So we talk to them regularly and we ensure that the compliances happen within the time frame. So, no delays have to take place in post-listing. Pre-listing is about ensuring that your company is compliant in all terms. So it's been a great learning journey. So I think I can talk about legal now. I can talk about what a chartered company secretary talks or what a CA talks.
So it may be too early to ask you this question, but what is the kind of impact that this whole experience has had over, your company's visibility, its credibility, market presence, or how now your clientele are viewing you? So have you seen a marked difference in that?
Yes, I've seen a leap jump, I would say, because the moment when it was listing, I literally grew up in an industrial area and in an industrial environment. So, I'm talking about SME segment only. I'm not talking about the big ones. So everybody knows us in person. So the moment, those 3 days, everybody was ringing up and saying they were watching our share price. And whenever we happen to bump into them something, okay, you did well. That is from our, from the neighborhood. But if from a customer perspective, from a supplier perspective, everybody was, wow, your share did well. So the credibility has increased. Not just that, the identity has changed. So earlier, probably I may have to take an appointment to reach out to some of the topmost in the company. Now it's the other way. They're trying to reach out to me. So that big difference, I see that. And I do remember immediately after the listing day, especially the entire next week, every day I had multiple banks waiting for me. I denied meeting a couple of them also saying that I don't have the time. So that is one part. But yeah, the advantages of listing is that, I think you're seen with a different perspective. I think it is all about trust because everything is visible. Your reach is much higher. Now, at the same time, I think I can talk about, acquisition, which I never thought. I always thought about probably thinking, I'll just service this order. Or, I'll ensure that this order happens on time and I just get a next order. Now I don't think in those terms. I think, what I have to do in the next 6 months, what I have to do in the next 1 year. I'm looking for acquisitions, I'm looking for buying technology, or I'm looking for something where, I can export my products or reach out to far off places. So that's my thought process has totally changed. And of course, the perception of my customers, my suppliers, my bankers has totally phenomenally changed.
Great, great. So for entrepreneurs who are hesitant about taking this step, what would be your advice?
I would say if you have a good team and if your company is in the growth mode, you really see a potential for your company to grow. I would say, please go for this route. So as simple as it.
So what is the kind of pre-preparation that is required? Like you're encouraging them to go, right? So
yes, I am.
So both mentally and as far as their company is concerned, at what stage should be, I understood that you're saying you should be in the growth mode. Yes, of course. Most of us think our companies are in the growth mode and you need money to expand and all that. But where is that tipping point where they have to decide that, yes, here I have to reach out to somebody bigger than, my community, my network of friends and family?
See, here actually one of the criteria is having good profit. And you should have the, the physical infrastructure or whatever related to the company, which is already a sale. So it is not for a startup, which means if it is a startup, you're actually working on it right now. You've already worked on it. You already have the products ready. You just have to explode into the market. So that is the phase. So that should be at least a 3-year phase where your company is in a positive net worth. So that is a phase when you should actually get into that and go for funding in this way so that, instead of growing in the incremental 10-20% per annum, you would grow in 100-200 times a year. But yes, you need a good team, undoubtedly, and you need a mental strength to ensure that, this will take time. You should have the energy and the patience and the perseverance to say that, yes, this will take time, but it will happen. And in the whole process, I would definitely say timing is everything. When it comes to stock markets, normally everybody talks about, timing is everything, which I never understood, believe me, because I never invested in stock market. The first time that I invest, we came on the stock market, but I never invested a penny. But I do remember multiple times where you know there's a timing to launch your to do your listing and all. I never really understood it because ours was supposed to happen around mid-July or end of July. For certain reasons, it got delayed. And I do remember that around that time frame of July was when the budget was announced. It's really bad, and the FIS actually withdrew all their money. So we wouldn't have seen this success at that point of time. Only when ours happened, I realized that what does timing mean? I mean, people are saying, but you know, unless you experience it, you can't talk about it. So I saw that really. So timing is everything. So you have to plan it in such a way where the markets are good, people have enough money. India is actually in a very growth phase where everybody has money. Instead of investing in the conventional mode, they're investing in SMEs now because compared to NSE, I think SME gives you a better return now.
Right. So you mentioned timing, of course. Were you advised by your merchant banker and by NSE Emerge about when to do it?
No. Things happen in place. Nothing. Those are things that we have no control about.
Okay.
No, none of us have any control about. See, we submit the document, then you have to get the approvals. Post the approvals, there's a few documentations to be submitted. So everything is interconnected. So one after the other. So if you have to submit, say, around 7 or 8 documents, you may be fast in the first 3 or 4. But the last 2, 3, you really don't know why it gets delayed. Even in our case, it got delayed. Now, what is the reason? There are no reasons to it because we are a team of not less than 15 to 20 working backend. And all of us have to correlate and ensure that things are happening on time. Things happen on time, but we don't want any wrong information to be published as well. So we're very conscious about that.
Great. Thank you so much. And is Joyshri ji there? I think she had another call. So thank you so much, Sarita. It was, oh, you're here. Joyshri, you have any questions?
Yeah, so I just have one more question for you, Sarita. You know, like one would be that how have your interactions with the investors and the shareholders changed post the listing, and how are you managing all this relationship? And also, it's a family business, so you have everyone there. So has things changed? And are you carrying work home? And how are you managing? I mean, it must have been so huge, everything overwhelming indeed. So how are you managing?
So I think, we're just an infant in this space. So it's too early for me to comment, but definitely we've outsourced our investor relations to a third party. So they're taking care of it. Yes, of course, we have to go on a call with them. A virtual call is arranged, or we have to announce our results, and that's when we have to talk to them. So that phase has not yet arrived for us. But whenever it happens, we are ready to take it because I'm ready to answer the investors. Yeah, I'm pretty well. I'm able to manage my home and company right now. So as of now, it's been good. So touch wood.
Best for more and keep rocking. I'm very proud of you, every one of us at FLO.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ms. Joshi. Thank you, Priya. Thank you on the team. Thank you, Gaurav Jain sir.
Over to you for Q&A.
Yes, I got some questions on my personal window, and I think I'll go speaker wise. So first question is for Mr. Sendil. How does the process of, this is more about how can we transition from NSE Emerge to the main board? So how is that process and what are the benefits of doing that?
See, process-wise, first thing that the company after listing SME segment, they have to be there minimum 3 years in the SME portal. After that, they have to increase their paid-up capital to 10 crore and above, and they can apply to NSE for migration. And there is a simple documentation is there, and they can migrate to that actually based on the exchange approval. It will happen very smooth process, nothing much cost involved in that. Simple process flow only. And benefit-wise, if you see, we see typically SME and as well as the main board companies all trading in the same platform of NSE only. Only thing that will be main board companies under the series of EQ. SMEs companies will be trading in the series of SM. That's it. Same cash market it will get traded. Few difference or as I mentioned earlier, SMEs are traded only in the lot size, 1 lakh and multiples of 1 lakh only. There, what happened? A lot of transactions will not happen very frequently. For example, like somebody want to buy 1 share, 2 share, 5 shares. So then when you go to migrate to main board, even any small individual, for example, like if any of you wanted to buy 1 share of SME, 2 share of SME to test the water, small investment of 10,000, 20,000. These people can try out when you move to main board companies. When you go to main board, that big investor pool, mainly into retail investor pool, will be there with you. That's how that will be, the stock will be more liquidate in that liquidity, having more liquidity in that portal. That's the major difference, I would say.
At what point do SMEs go to main board from Emerge?
So that's what, 3 years of completing their say in SME, and after in the SME segment, after 3 years, just need to migrate, increase their paid capital to 10 crore and above, then they can apply.
And in your journey, have you seen any common mistakes or missteps that companies have made in the early days of post listing? That and how do you think we can avoid those?
No, typically early days of post listing, some of the submissions, compliance part, people normally do miss actually. That though we normally give them advice. We connect with our compliance team, try to understand more, because since now more of our compliance, more of submission are online only. We have a portal called NAPES. Through that only people get submit their periodical in the submissions. Initial days, people will tend to know for everything. They might have some kind of a hesitant or some kind of doubts and all. After listing, we might arrange a kind of proper orientation for people to understand the submission, everything, and we'll handhold them on the first 6 months, 1 year. We normally handhold them. We'll do that actually. Other than that, I don't see any kind of much challenges for them.
Now, the next question is for Mr. Gaurav Jain. As for family-owned businesses, how do you suggest balancing family control with the transparency and governance requirements of going public?
So family business can go to public. The main concern for the companies comes in that they are 100% owned. Now 25 to 30% is now liquidated in the stock market. So they feel that our control doesn't lose. So effectively their control doesn't lose up. They still have the control in the company. The board of directors are there, and they must be the board of directors of the company, and major shareholders are there, and are the promoters of the company. So control doesn't lose, and they can get their company listed on the stock exchange. However, there's a proper process that needs to be followed up, because majority of these family business run in the partnership firm or in a proprietary firm. So a process has to be followed for it.
Next question is to Sarita. How did you manage the stress of preparing for the listing? I mean, while you were doing listing, how did you manage the listing process along with your, regular running of business?
We actually had, fortunately, we had a good team support in-house as well as exterior also, from the merchant banker and from a couple of company secretaries, and we had chartered accountants. So tell that our merchant banker took care of most of the things. So wherever we stuck, even now I like call him and say, I'm stuck here, so tell me what I have to do. So he gives us advice, or these are the ways and this can be sorted out. So because this is an unknown territory, frankly, and we're getting used to it post-listing, but pre-listing, yes. So we worked as a team, so it's complete team effort, I would say. And thanks to the ecosystem that has been created by our merchant banker, that we could actually solve all the problems seamlessly.
I think I can add here that Sarita's CA was also fellow FLO member, Shubhra Maheshwari, past chairperson. She was CA for Sarita through the listing process. Yeah, and next question for you again, Sarita, is if you had the chance to do it all over again, is there anything you would approach differently in the listing process?
My approach, probably I would have come more prepared, because we just pounced upon it thinking that we'll go into this, but probably I would have done more homework and shrink the whole program to less than 6 to 7 months. That's the only thing I can say, but otherwise still I would have done it.
Yes, I think if there's I think I covered all the questions, so we can close Q&A now, and I'll be handing it over to our senior vice chairperson Pratibha Kunda for giving vote of thanks.
Hello, very good evening to all. On behalf of FLO Hyderabad and Chairperson Priya Gazdar, I thank everyone for taking your time out and joining us today for this insightful session on the IPO journey of Innomet Advanced Materials Limited and the opportunities available through NSE Emerge. First and foremost, I'd like to express our gratitude to the leaders from NSE Emerge and the merchant banking sector, Mr. Senthil Murugan, Senior Manager, NSE India Limited, and CA Gaurav Jain, Founder, Director, Expert Global Consultants Private Limited, for their expertise and guidance. And a special thank you to our guest speaker, our own FLO member, Sarita Chilakapati, for sharing her incredible journey with such transparency and depth. We're proud to witness the remarkable achievements. The session has provided deep learning for those who aspire to follow a similar path. A heartfelt thank you to our FLO National President, Joshri Das Verma, for gracing us with her presence as the guest of honor. Your support and leadership continue to guide and inspire us. And thank you, Neha Reddy, and your entire MSME Assist Cell for all the efforts you put in to get this event together. We also thank our creative partner, RBC Worldwide. Thank you to all the members that logged in, and see you at future sessions as we continue to grow, learn, and support one another in our entrepreneurial journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratibha. Neha, Sarita, can we share your number? I think a couple of people.
Yeah, sure. I just messaged also that. Thank you all.
Yeah.
No issues.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here. I hope that was a learning session, and a couple of requests have come for presentations by NSE and Merchant Banker. We will definitely post it in the group that you have registered. So please stay on in the group, and we will keep posting numbers and presentations there for you to use. And hope some of you are inspired to take your journey further and step into the NSE Emerge challenge, step up to that challenge and take it up and grow your businesses and see your growth stories and growth, visions for growth coming true. And they have said it's only 6 months. So even if you prepare yourself for 6 months mentally, the physical aspect is 6 months. In 1 year, we could be, narrating another success story on this platform. So do take it up, whoever. And Sarita is there. She has offered, her side of guidance and help. And of course, we have our experts. So we would be very happy to connect.
Thank you, Priya, for everything.
Thank you so much.
FLO team.
You're fantastic, Sarita. And thank you, Mr. Senthil. Thank you, Mr. Gaurav.
Thank you.
And big thanks to Joyce Das Verma, FLO National President, for being here with us today. This was a very, very, something that was close to our heart, and we had to leverage this homegrown advantage, like I said. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senthil.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do share your presentations with us. It will be, helpful to those who are thinking along these lines.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Saurabh ji. Thank you, Ankurita, Anshu, for all your help from FLO HO. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We can log off, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Priya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarita, ma'am.
Thank you, Gaurav sir. Are we staying for some time?
Congratulations, Sarita Garu. It was
Thank you,
amazing
Soumya.
seeing your journey and hearing all about
Yes,
this.
absolutely.
Very well organized as usual, of course, Priya. Very nicely done. Just wanted to say
Yeah.
personally, congratulations.
Thank you. It was Priya's thought, actually. It never occurred to me also.
Well deserved for everyone at FLO.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely the members should know now whether they
Yes.
These things are so inspirational, no? When somebody next to you, somebody you're talking to every day is able to achieve this,
Yeah.
it is so inspirational. You don't think of it as a far-off pipe dream anymore.
No, not at all.
There is so
In
much
fact,
hesitation in so many of us. We are unnecessarily scared what will happen. Can I do it? Should I do it? And like that very pertinent question from Neha about family boards, we do think that way, right? That there'll be dilution.
Yeah.
It is, of course, a difficult step and difficult decision, but once taken, I think we have enough of organizations to help us and hold our hand and guide us correctly.
That's true. We have a lot of
This
people.
kind of a success
there to
story, I
help.
think anybody
Yes.
who's thinking should not hesitate. And yes, actually real estate market is down, right? Throughout India, especially in Hyderabad. So it's better that one starts parking their money in, issues and new listings, stocks, shares of promising companies. Anyways, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Priya.
team. Thank you, Neha. Thank you,
everyone.
Soumya.
Yeah, thank you, Soumya, Neha, Sudha.
And the core team also for always being there and helping us putting this together. Neha has really burnt the midnight oil. She has told everybody multiple times and made sure that, this happened seamlessly.
Good.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Priya. So I think
Thanks,
I'll
Soumya.
disconnect now. Get
All
back
right.
to
Thank you.
have
Thank
to
you.
disconnect now and get back to work now.
Yes, yes, please do.
Thank you so much. Right then.
Yes.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
No.